Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Hello, hello. It's Monday, and that means it is time for the next playthrough. Tonight, I'm gonna be starting up Wind Waker HD, and going through that as I do. Um, Wind Waker HD, one of my favorite games of all time. Love it. To a point. I'll say, like, I don't. When you go to the part where it's the Triforce hunt, and you're just hunting Triforces for a while, and then you have to go to, Ganon's castle, that whole span is mostly just Triforce pieces and other bullshit. So it's not honestly my favorite part, but got a while until we get to that part, and everything up to there is sublime, and I think definitely puts it among the best Zeldas out there. I'm gonna actually, I just realized it's a little stuffy here. I'm gonna check the AC, and then I'm going to tell you about some stuff that's in the coming, days. What's gonna happen, that sort of business. 1 second, folks. Okay, I just adjusted the thermostat a little bit. It's gonna be good. Anyway, I'm playing here the Wind Waker HD. I got it on my Wii U, which I will say I have to have the gamepad plugged in all the time because it's a little bit, the battery isn't very long, and you can see, if you look closely, the power cord is sort of just taped together. A little bit of wire showing, but that's fine. That's okay. It still works. It's still good. It's plugged in, yeah? Yes, it is. Okay. I saw when I unplugged it, the line a little bit less brighter. But, yeah, that's the version I got. Well, I actually have both versions. I have Wind Waker HD and Wind Waker Original. We could have been playing Wind Waker Original, but with the Swift Sail and, the like reduced Triforce hunt, I think this is the best version to play as a video game, and also, hey, look, it's in HD. The graphics are pretty. They're not like perfect or nothing. They're oh, there's a little bit bloom in this version, which I think isn't quite as nice as the original, but it's still pretty and it's in HD. Can't go wrong with it, I think. I'm gonna hit start, and I'm probably gonna have to delete a file. How's that audio? Some of these sound effects seem like they might be a little louder than just the music itself. I'm playing with the Wii U gamepad. I don't own a Pro controller for the Wii U. I need to delete one of these. Let's see. This is a clear save, I think. This one's empty. Yeah, we'll get rid of that one. And yeah, we'll just be starting this. Ooh, use the gamepad. Where's my stylus? God. Okay. You know what? I don't need to use the stylus. I'll use the D-pad. The stylus no longer fits in the gamepad's stylus hole. Like, it no longer like sticks there, so it comes out when I move it around. I think it's over there, actually. 1 second. Hey. I found it. I was thinking just like a Link. Just go with Link, that's good. Before we begin, some up top front stuff. Just a couple things, a lot of it pertaining to upcoming streams. Let me check the sound, by the way, before we get any further. I tested against the opening's theme. Let me take it down a notch. I think that'll be good. Let's go with that level of volume. I'll adjust that all later. Make sure it's all good to go in the future. First off, I want to give a shout out to Ryan Davis, who was a streamer and a beloved streamer and content guy. You know, he was on many a video, many a podcast. He was one of the co-founders of Giant Bomb, and he passed away 10 years today, which, you know, was devastating at the time, and still 10 years later, he is sorely missed. It's been 10 years since then. Jeez. Time flies. Love Ryan Davis. Shout out to him, one of my favorite duders, you know. And him and Jeff back in the day, their chemistry was unbelievably good, and it was such a bummer that, like, that all, you know, ended. Don't think the site was ever the same, though it did, you know, they were able to recover eventually and find some sort of new normal. Sad day. Definitely watched some clips of his, and as well as you know, saw many a GIF celebrating his goofier moments. Lovely dude. Miss him dearly. Lunchtime viewer levels next 2 Fridays. So, since I have time off this week and next week, I'm thinking let's do lunchtime viewer levels this Friday and next Friday. So, that'll be fun. Viewer levels at a slightly different time as normal. Maybe give the people who are in, like, you know, other time zones, for instance, Europe, a stream that is more at a good time for them, you know? I noticed in the last stream there were quite a few Europeans. There were a couple of Europeans who all said the same thing when their level came up, like, yeah, it's 4 a.m., I gotta go after this, but, you know, and I appreciate you. And hopefully this lunchtime stream, maybe around, like, noonish, will be more like at, like, 6 p.m. Let's say it would be like at 6 p.m. London time, you know, so a little bit more reasonable, I hope, compared to the normal time we do viewer levels, you know, on Fridays. So that'll be the plan for the next 2 weeks. After, you know, I'm back to work, we'll go back to the normal time. Never to fear about that, you know, don't worry about it. But it should be nice. Next up, the next Wind Waker stream will be on Sunday. I have plans next week, leaving on Tuesday, returning like on Thursday, so, you know, don't expect a Thursday stream as well, also, that week. But basically, while I do have Monday off and, you know, I won't be leaving on Monday, it still would be very inconvenient to do the stream on Monday evening, Monday night, and then have to do all the exporting and all that stuff right after, you know, before I leave for Silver Dollar City. You know, that doesn't make sense. That's not really gonna fly. So instead, I'm gonna take care of it on Monday at my luxury and, you know, go from there. I could see also doing like a maker stream on Monday, like Monday morning, like that would be possible. You know, I could do that and then sort out the VOD ahead of time, you know, for YouTube and stuff before sleeping, you know. But also I do have to pack a little bit, so I do have to like prep. I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily be like ready to go on Monday, you know. But that's sort of, but at least for this main stream, this main series of streams, this playthrough, it'll be on Sunday. And next week, and then after that, back to Monday, which should be nice. 1 second, I just realized I forgot my mouse. Let me grab that. Last point of business before we start. I've come up with an idea for tomorrow's stream. It's quite different from anything we discussed on Friday. I came up with an idea that's pretty good and has nothing to do with any of the previous ideas. Here it is. Basically, it's related to stars. You know, stars and stripes are a big part of 4th of July. And here is the theme. It is the 4th of July 2D All the Stars stream. So I thought what would be a good way to, like, you know, prepare for Super Mario Wonder. Why I think it'd be good to play a bunch of other 2D Mario games. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do on tomorrow's stream. We're gonna start with you know, the first one, Super Mario Brothers, and I'm going to try to beat them one after another, and see how far we get, basically. I've grabbed some, you know, I've grabbed, like, basically every 2D game, and have, I think I'm ready to stream just about any of them, should we get to it. You know, starting from Super Mario Brothers 1, not sure about 2 USA and Lost Levels, but I think we should do those just for completeness sake. 3 World, easy enough. I think I can do the original New Super Mario Brothers, which I'll say I've never played New Super Mario Brothers, so that one will be all new to me. But I also have Wii here, and I think I can do New Super Mario Brothers 2, and as far as U and New Luigi and New Mario U, both of them are on Switch, so that's easy enough. I should be able to do all those games, and like I said, we'll see how far we get. The basic goal, the basic conceit, is to do any percent in each of those games. So, you know, there are some of them where you can just go for shortcuts and get through it really quickly, like Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, Super Mario Brothers 3 to a certain extent. Those should be really easy to just knock out. I don't know the warps for Lost Levels or 2 USA that well, so we'll see how that goes. And also, all the new games, you know, they're a little less willing to let you just skip most of the game, you know, so those ones might get much longer, but at the same time, it's just 2D traditional platforming. We should be able to get through each level in, like, pretty short order, right? At which point, you know, we'll tear through those games, and I would very much like to finish all of them, but, you know, I am aiming at that being, like, maybe a 12-hour stream tops, so we'll see what we can do in the time we have, and, yeah. Sounds like a good plan. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, y'all will enjoy seeing some, you know, good old-fashioned, regular-ass Mario platformers. Will be a good time. Also, I had an idea wherein, what if every game I beat, I got to eat a hot dog? That would be in keeping with the American spirit of the day of July 4th. Hot dogs, the traditional food of July 4th, you know. Let's get going here. Wind Waker HD. This is but one of the legends the people speak, of which the people speak. Long ago, there existed a kingdom where a golden power lay hidden. This was Ocarina of Time, by the way. What stylish is good for scratching the head. It had green forest, tall mountains, and peace, and other things, you know? Like a volcano, a lake, desert area. One time a guy found the power Triforce, and he spread darkness with it. And they were like, "Oh no, that's no good." And the gods were sympathetic to this plight, and they sent the young boy, you know, clothed in green. He sealed the Dark One away and gave the land light. But wait. He was a man in Ocarina when he did that. But I guess he is a boy at heart, so it's not wrong. That was the hero of time. That's why he's called the hero of time, because he travels in time. How about that? It was passed down and became legend. And then out came Ganondorf again, and this time there was no Link. It was a canon event, and what happened to Link? Where is Link? Quite sad. He crept forth, and was about to do some bad stuff. And they thought like, oh yeah, the hero of time's gonna be back. But, nah, that didn't happen. The hero did not appear. Well, yeah, he was dead by that point. They prayed to the gods, and the gods said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. They left their hands, their future in the hands of fate. That where the story ends? Yes. What happened to those people? No one knows, but you'll find out later in the game if you, like, you know, play on or... The memory of the kingdom vanished, or watch on, but the legend survived on the wind's breath. On a certain island, it became customary to guard boys in green and dress them up like the hero of old. That's who we are. We are dressed up as the hero of old. How do you like that? They aspired to find blades and cast down evil. The elders wished only for the youth to know courage like the hero of legend, but they got more than they were bargaining for in Link. That's gonna be how the like movie is set up when they do a movie, when they do a Zelda movie. It's gonna be like a comedy. I feel like some of the movies that they eventually end up doing, they ought to not just be comedies, you know, for kids. They should be a little more, you know, I don't know, PG-13. I definitely think, like, if they do ever do a Metroid movie, they need to go, like, full the inspirations with it, you know? It has to be a survival horror movie, basically. And look at that, we're being looked at. That's us. That's Link. I might need to move to another corner here, depending on where the hearts lie. In the other game, they're in like the upper left, aren't they? Or are they on the upper right with like the item stuff? It's his birthday. It's his birthday. What's your birthday? Sleeping in the watchtower. Now, younger folks might be wondering, like, oh, you're at the top of a watchtower. Time to sync up your map. I'll say, like, no, that's not how it works in this game. You don't get your map from watchtowers. You get it from fish. As you do, you know? I've seen many a speedrun where they do that pausa thing. I don't know how to do it, so I'm not going to, of course, but I do think it's neat whenever they do. And yeah, clearly, I'm in the corner with the stuff in it. I'll move down here. That's fine. I think there might be a map. I don't know which corner the map is going to be in, actually. I'll say. I want to get some money. What a nice game. People were weird about this at the time, you know. They didn't like how it was cartoony, you know, how it was cel-shaded, all that. But it's a beautiful game. The sea, the ocean-faring aspect of it is pretty damn novel, and still sets it apart from pretty much every other Zelda game, you know, to date. Which is great, you know. We gotta get dressed up as our guy, but look at this outfit. Isn't that a good outfit? Now, if they did this game now, they would just keep you in this. They would just say, like, okay, and Link in this one just dresses like in a lobster shirt, and that's fun. You know, it almost has... In Breath of the Wild, they actually did that, you know? They actually did, like, a blue shirt and had that be the new costume. And a break from, like, tradition in that way. But in this one, they can only do that as an unlockable thing. You gotta wear green. Let's talk to Grandma. She's been waiting for us. Let's go ahead and put on the clothes. A little warm for this weather. Oh. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty chill. Nowadays, only Orca knows about how to do swords and stuff. And yeah, they used to hang the shields on the walls, but they don't do that so much anymore. Rather, it's not because it's like an important thing anymore. Shit, we're gonna have a birthday party tonight. Oh, this is gonna be nice. Just a nice, chill little like slice of life type thing. We're gonna hang out, do some birthday stuff, I guess, and then, you know, game over. GG. Not gonna be complicated at all. Alright. That beetle? Can I buy anything right now? I wonder. They got these little rafts. You never see anyone using them, though. If this was, you know, more modern days, like Tears of the Kingdom, like in Tears of the Kingdom, they definitely... I guess I could take a pair. I don't have enough money for a bait bag. Oh well. They would have like other people sailing around and being like, "Hey Link, how's it going? I can give you a hint," which you know would be cool and smart, but they didn't need to do any of that back then. It was nice enough just being at sea, seeing the waves, and just having NPCs just hanging around. You know, you didn't need to meet them. We can Z-target this fella. Ain't that something? This is Orcus? I think this is Orca. Hey, buddy. Okay. Hell yeah. brother upstairs is very high strung. Yeah. But feeble. Can I do this now and get this out of the way, or is this just until things start, kick off? Is this just fucking around? This is cool. I like how dynamic the music is here. I only pressed B. Oh, I was Z targeting. So there's multiple kinds of slices. It's not really super important whether you use one or the other. Like, most of them will always get the job done. You know, whether it's horizontal slicing or vertical slicing. The distinction is not important. That's, you know, it's part of why they don't tutorialize any of that in Tears of the Kingdom. You know, because it's just like, you'll figure it out. One slice, the other slice, just hit the button. And you'll manage. It'll be, you know, fine. Anyway. I got cards tonight. A couple, well, I'll say, like, the anime season that just, was going has ended. And the next anime season has begun. So there is a number of anime I want to... Hello, buddy. So. Yeah, they're kind of hot. Kind of looks like a hot place, you know, a tropical island and all, palm trees. Even though, well, the elevation is high, let's say. You could say. No entry because on account of I don't have a sword. I want to get that rupee. So let me do a card here. We'll talk about the first anime that I finished over the weekend. The first one being Mashley, Magic and Muscles, and that was a 5 out of 5 with a heart for me. That is a all-time favorite, goddamn good anime. Really quite enjoyed the fuck out of it. The basic premise is that Mash is that there's this guy called Mash. He lives in a magical world, and he doesn't have any magic, but he is like super absurdly fucking ripped, fucking buff. Can like do amazing feats of strength, which I have prepared one ahead of time to show. That's what they look like in the first episode. All he needs is 5 minutes to do a million billion reps of various sorts. It's ridiculous. It's a good basic premise, and then he has to go... He's a great joke character, basically. And then he has to go to Magic High School and, like, pass off his super strength for magic, which is very funny, you know. And also there's, like, more jokes to him. You know, it's not just that he's super strong and, you know, with brute force, he can do basically what anyone can do with magic, if not, you know, even more so. But also, he's obsessed with cream puffs, which is a funny little idea. And it does result in some of the best jokes. That alone. That little bit. In particular, I think of a moment from like a few episodes in where the show is sometimes like a really dumbass Harry Potter parody. And like no more so than when they did like the sorting skeleton. There was a skeleton who sorts people, and like and the skeleton is just thinking to himself like, well, look, I can read people's minds. I will be able to figure out. I've always been able to figure out from that where they go. And then Mash touches the skeleton, and all he's thinking about is cream puffs, 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 cream puffs. And the skeleton just doesn't know what to do until he says, cream puff levelers, go to Adler. Just fucking Good, okay. What a thing to say. Sure. That sounds right. I bet they do. Anyway, I'll say that I did have issues with the show. Like, I do think that Mash's friends aren't really, like, top-notch. They're kind of, like, vary from just, like, regular people to, like, less good joke characters. And without Mash, whenever Mash is not in the picture, it can devolve into sort of just like a generic mediocre shonen, you know, a mediocre action show. But Mash on his own, I think, carries the show more than enough. It is still extraordinary, despite its unevenness. I think it still holds up as one of the best shows of the season, for sure. Hoi hoi, what's up? Yeah, they're neat. Okay, I'm gonna hold up my hand and close my eyes. Most treasured belonging. Happy birthday. I didn't even close my eyes! What the hell? Link's eyes were definitely open there. You need to wait for a second, sister. Would you look at that? That's gonna let us see stuff. Oh yeah, I can assign it just using the screen, which I will say is pretty dirty. Kinda feels grimy touching it. Gamepad, old. There's not a way to get like a new gamepad, is there? Yeah. Are you looking at the red thing? Not. What? Why is this? I can't move it. He's a Rito. It's cool. We love him. Up in the sky. Where? Oh, hey. Oh, that's no good. Some sort of big bird. Some sort of big bird. And... pirates! Oh, isn't that something? Yeah, you... Oh. I knew that was gonna happen, of course. I played this game before. But, you know... You gotta, like, you know... play it up. Oh no, they've been dropped into the forest on top of the mountain area, you know? Which is an area nobody goes because it's like a little bit dangerous. In the forest, it doesn't have a name. And I'll have to club them with my telescope. That's the plan here. Club them with the telescope. Can I just go with a sword, or do I need a shield as well? So, we're gonna go get a sword, and then we're gonna start our adventure. Let me do another card really fast. As I go get sword. Hell's Paradise, also 5 out of 5 with a heart. I'll say, like most of the shows, there's 4 shows that finished from this season that all finished all at once, and they were all really good. You know, some shade of really good. Hell's Paradise, basically, it's a show about a bunch of, like, hey, give me a sword. Can I just get the sword? If I say yes, will he give me the sword? I forget how this works. I already did this, but okay. Okay. So, Hell's Paradise, the basic premise is that, there's, like, an island with a bunch of weird fucking shit on it. Weird, quasi-religious shit. And, a bunch of criminals are being set. A bunch of, like, deadly, deadly criminals are being sent, accompanied with executioners, in order to go to the island and find a elixir of life, and whoever comes back first gets to, like, be pardoned and shit. And they're allowed to do whatever they want on the island, so it ends up having, like, sort of a battle royale feel to it, you know, where, like, you know, they're running around, you know, constantly, like... As they go, it's unclear whether they're going to, like, fight each other or team up or just die because the island is pretty fucking dangerous. The main character's pretty cool. He's like a like dejected, like a dejected figure who's like hollow seemingly, but also it turns out he's secretly a wife guy and he is so hard to kill, which is perfect because he's going to an island where everyone seems to die really quickly, so, you know, good trait to have. It's a suicide mission. Being unkillable is a pretty good trait for it. I also like the main girl, you know, his executioner. She's very businesslike and very competent, and I think that she is perceptive and good. I like her. The show is just really well done, and the action is great, and it fucking moves. It has a hell of a good pace to it. Things keep happening, and you never know what's going to happen next. You know, it keeps you guessing as plots develop, as the mystery unfolds. Hell's Paradise, fantastic show. Top notch. I appreciate the blade, my man. I got the sword. That's right. That looks like a pretty easy, like, thumbnail. The sword, just holding it out, you know. Zelda has some good thumbnails. In general, as a series, just like, you know, the UI goes away. Zelda, you know, Link is just like main center stage, holding up a cool item that he is so happy about. That's just like a recipe for it, you know. Let me see if I can get the shield before we head out to save whoever this is just fell. That's gonna be later, isn't it? It's a sword. I'm carrying it around because I need to go into the forest, because I'm the only one who can do it, because I'm dressed as the hero, you see. And it's not like Orca can go do it, can he? Well, I guess actually Orca could go do it. Anyway, I don't think Orca knows that something's happening, so he's not going to, you know, come do it with me. That would be something, though. Imagine if, like, Orca had followed you to the first area. You know, that's something that's, like, not off the table now in current games, but I mean, I guess even in this game, there are companions that in a few dungeons tag along. Mostly they're just sort of passive partners, though. Sort of, you know, either following loosely or standing still until spoken to, you know? Oh yeah? No entry? Fuck you. Look at that, we're going in. Does grass have any money in it? It could use money. I don't know why there would be money in the grass, but there always is, so, you know. Might be. Another card. Another series I finished was Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury, Season 2. 5 out of 5. Now, this is a step down from the last season, which was 5 out of 5, and also just spectacularly a favorite, but I do think it was pretty great, just not exactly what I was looking for, you know? I feel like there were so many plot developments that were exciting and good and such, but also came out of nowhere, were a little bit messy, a little bit rushed, and one betrayal in particular really sticks in my craw as being, like, just there to service the story, you know? Just there to be like, okay, we need some drama to kick off between these characters, or else, you know, what are we doing? And, like, I appreciate that the drama was good, but, you know, if someone betrays someone, I want there to be a good reason for it, and there wasn't. It was just sort of like, yeah, well, I think I can betray you to get ahead, and then see how that fucking worked out. It didn't. I didn't pull myself up there. think I was pushing the stick in. Pushing the stick up, you know. But anyway, it all led up to a nice ending that I like to see. You know, overall the season was a little devoid also as like the you know, the romance part of the show, but whatever, it had it in the end, I guess. Just a little bit. Not exactly what I was looking for from the second season and also the last season. Feel like maybe they could have. You not? I thought you could cut this. Is there another game where you can cut these bridges? I swear I thought if I like swung at them, they would snap. You know, like rope bridges tend to do when you sword them. I mean, I guess it's not a good idea to do so, but, you know, I thought it would work. Anyway, little bit mixed, but ultimately, there's phenomenal sequences in there, and as like messy as the drama can be, it's all really well executed. So still, a 5 out of 5 for me, just not as highly ranked in the overall as previous season. And I have one more here. One more anime that I finished. And it is Insomniacs After School. That's a 5 out of 5 with a heart. Definitely one of the best things of the season. Basically, the premise is that there's these pair of kids, and they're both insomniacs. They find each other, and they sort of hang out during their sleepless nights and, you know, keep each other company and have a good time. And it's just fun and good, and, you know, the characters are really likable, and it's just a beautiful show, you know, seeing them take their like, sleepless nights to see their sleepless nights go from a thing of anxiety, a thing of, like, frustration, to, like, a beautiful, a sweet, a cozy time, a fun time, and a beautiful time. It's just, lovely, especially as it later into some astrophotography stuff where they're like spending time outside, like, you know, taking pictures of stuff, hanging out in nature. All that stuff is just beautiful to see, like, in execution, right? To see that all come about, and for them to spend time outside just, like, hanging out, taking pictures, being all nice and cozy. It's just sweet, and there's solid romance as well. You know, I'll say this. I said this in the review I put into Annie List. Staying up all night has never been this cozy, nor this romantic. It's just, delectable, wonderful, good-ass time. And if you're wondering what they look like this. First off, the main girl, she's great. She's a little quirky. The first time they hang out at night, she shows up dressed like this, and he's like, what the fuck? This is what you dress like out of school? And it's just very cute and funny. She's quirky and goofy. She's great. He's a little more taciturn, but, you know, it's mostly because he can't sleep at night. And otherwise, you know, when he's not being, like, not just grumpy all the time, he's a serious fella, but a nice one, you know, and you like to see them together. They're a good pair, and just damn cute. I also really like they have, like, a older senpai character who appears, and, you know, she sort of teaches them how to do, like, astrophotography. There's a great scene in like, one of the early episodes with her, like, around the middle, where, like, she's out and about, you know, she's, like, camping outside, and it almost reminds me in these parts of, like, oh, a little bit like laid back camp, but they're doing something, you know. It's like laid back camp for night owls at a certain point, and it's like, oh my god, this is so cozy and good, oh my god. And later in this scene, she's like, oh my god, I just took a really good picture, but it's 3 a.m. How can I share it with anyone? And she sends it to the two of them, and they immediately, like, reply and go like, oh my god, it's beautiful. And she laughs because, okay, shit, these guys, they're night owls. You know, it's it's normal for them to be up at late hours and shit. It's cool, you know. Babakin. Babakin. Like the Tears of the Kingdom commercial. One more thing before we fight the Babakin. Just show the tier list for the spring 2023 simulcast anime season tier list. Here it is. There is the full list put together. You know, all the anime that I finished over the last 3 months, just put into a list. You know, everything that had a heart on it resolves to S. Anything that was 5s resolved to A or A+. B's are 4 out of 5, C's are 3s, and F is 2 out of 5s generally. Though, of course, you know, if there's a lot in a certain category other than S, split it into plus and minus, or plus and not minus, you know, plus and regular, in order to add some tiers to it. So in S tier, Oshinoko, Insomniacs After School, Dead Mount Death Play. If I had to say, those are the top 3 of the season, and what I would expect to see in, like, the top 10 of the year when I come around to that. Hell's Paradise, Demon Slayer, Swordsmith Arc, Dr. Stone New World, The Dangers in My Heart, Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible, My Love Story, Yamakun at level 999, Otaku Elf, and Mashley are the other ones in the S tier. I think that each of those is solid and good and hits hard. And I would describe them all as pretty much the best things on their days, you know, on the days that they aired. And, you know, I very much was always looking forward to them when watching other shows, which, you know, that's a good thing, you know. As far as, like, the A's go, Tony Kawa is in A+, Season 2, Golden Kamuy, Season 4, Skipping Low for Yuri Is My Job, that's all A+. A tier down, you know, still fantastic, but not quite as hot. A Galaxy Next Door, Stella of the Theater, World Daisai, Star, Konosuba, Explosion of This Wonderful World, and Mobile Suit Gundam, Witch from Mercury Season 2. In the B tier, we got Suzume, Uncle from Another World, Q Crisis, and the Cafe Terrence, and in C, Raeliana and Kuma Kuma Bear, and finally, F, the bad tier, where trash anime goes, Summoned to Another World for the second time, and Mixed Messai Story Season 2. Now, Season 2 of Mixed Messai Story so far this surfer, I will say, Mixed Messai Story, you might have noticed that there was no finish that. That's because it's a 2-core. It's going on into the next season, which, fucking of all the shows to continue on, to be still running, it's that one. But I'll say this first core, one of its major problems, it's been devoid of baseball. And it's a baseball anime, so that kind of sucks, you know? To have a whole season without any fucking anime, without any fucking baseball in it. Instead, it was just like, oh, there's like, here's this old guy, he's Insomniac, he cannot, not Insomniac, he's, Amnesiac. He cannot remember who he is. And it's like, oh, okay. And then, like, 5 episodes later, they're still focusing on this guy, and you're like, what the fuck? What does this guy have to do with the baseball? I don't give a fuck. Like, I think he was like a background joke in the last season, but, like, why is he in the foreground for, like, half the fucking season this time? Just so much focus on everyone's weird uncles, and for it to make a 3 out of 5 average, Mixed Messai Story really needs to kick ass in the second season, in the second core here, and needs to be about baseball and not frame everything by way of weird uncle. Okay, that's the tier list. Let's save whoever this is. Hello, Bubblekin. Babakin. These Babakins? These are Babakins, right? Like, this is the first game where they were invented, pretty much. Is that right? Were Babakins in the previous, were in games before this? I think this is the origin of Babakins. Like, in Ocarina, it was like Staphos, it was like weird skeleton guys, you know, like the Stal guys. Stal children, those ones were the main, like, basic enemies. choo-choos, all that business. But there wasn't really like a basic enemy that just had a sword and was normal, you know. And here they're like, okay, it's time to introduce one. You know, the basic foot soldier of Ganondorf. Or Bobkins, let me see. I'm curious now. Or Bobkins. Bobkins, I don't know how you say it. Bokoblin. Bokoblin. Yeah, confirmed. The first game that they appear is Wind Waker, in which they're, you know, little gremlin guys with pig faces. They also appeared in Twilight Princess. Wow, they're a lot. I'm looking at the wiki now on my phone. They're a lot more like weird and like wrinkled in their Twilight Princess appearance. Then they were like the weird horned guys. They're like the weird, like, big jowled guys in Skyward Sword. Wow, I would never make that connection. They look really different in Skyward Sword. And then Breath of the Wild, they now have, like, single horn rather than multiple horns. Do they even have horns in this game? Kind of. They have, like, a unicorn horn. But they don't in Twilight Princess, but they do have, like, Oni horns in, like, Skyward Sword. And then Breath of the Wild, they're just little, like, pig gremlins again. I think that's the best design. You want them to have, like, sort of piggishness to them. You know, because, I feel like that's the part of the connection, right? They're like Ganondorf's minions. Ganondorf is a pig monster. I was wondered if you could, like, jump on top of the thing there. They're like pig monsters because Ganondorf is a pig guy. Not that he's into pigs, just that that's what his, like... When he's a monster, he's a pig monster, specifically. You know. He's not any more into pigs than it is normal to be into pigs, you know? New character. I know, I played this game before. I know it's Tetra. But I'm playing along in case anyone doesn't know. No? What's with the get up? Whatever. No one else ever reacts in this game to, like, the way Link is dressed. You know, Link goes around the rest of the game dressed like this. And everywhere he goes, it's just like, okay, hey, just the guy. Not gonna think any more about it. I guess that'd be like if, you know, in Tears of the Kingdom, when everyone reacts to what you're wearing. If you're wearing something peculiar. That'd be what it would be like if that was like extended across the whole game. Just like everyone going like, oh, green. Weird. You look like an imp, like a fairy. In a good way. Well, that was nice of it, yeah. Time to go. Well, he didn't so much drop him as, like, the cannonball sort of made it drop her. So, you know, it was really a good shot on their part that it all worked out. You really shouldn't be here. This is where the monsters live, you know? It's dangerous. How are you gonna get across the board anyway? Oh no! That's no good. Well, fuck. You can't fly! I was gonna land in the water, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I would've landed in the water and been fine. I'll show you later, in fact. Let me Why don't I just go do that and just show? Want to come on the ship? Yep, I do. How do you figure? Birdman's got my back. That's true. It was chasing, haven't you heard word of young girls getting kidnapped? No, I haven't heard about this. Long ears, like yours. Are there people who have less long ears? I feel like everyone in Hyrule has, who's like a Hylian, has long ears. Like all the characters here on screen have pointy ears. Or Sacred Fortress, yeah, it's the place where, I think below Forbidden Fortress is like, Ganondorf's thing. Right? Like, that's what it is, basically. Good thing he was downstairs, I guess, when, you know, whatever happened, happened. I'm just gonna go run up to the top and jump off just to show them that I would have been fine. It's all good. Because I would have been just fine. Like, unscathed even. I could go get a bait bag now. Wouldn't be a bad idea. It's a good looking game. Okay, see? Look. Fine. Absolutely. No worries. Just so long as I get out of the water in like 10 minutes, I would be good. I need to buy a bait bag. That's what they're telling me to do here. They're saying, oh, you cannot leave without a bait bag. Otherwise, you'd be going into, like, so much risk. You'd be taking a big risk here. I will buy a bait bag. Ugh.
Thank you.
Oh yeah? I could get a Hayoi pear,
Bye.
but use those to like fly around seagulls, and it's not really all that useful commonly, mostly. Outside of like one occasion. Alright, let's talk to Grandmama. I need a shield. Hey, Grandmama. She's outside playing with the gulls, that's right. There's no shield, where is it? I was gonna nick it. I'm gonna have to go outside and tell everyone, oh, there's no shield. Oh no, Grandmama, she has it. Yeah, I needed to do like shield surfing with, you know? Like shield surfing that's of the oceanic variety rather than the mountain variety. You know, I'm gonna the pose extending for a moment too long. I'm gonna like shield surf on the water and have like a cable riding to like the boat, you know, and you know, ride the waves as you do. All right, let's fucking go. That's just a nice little opening scene here. No, it'll be fine. I'll get a mirror shield later, and I'll find that in like I mean, fucking hell, the Mirror Shield will be even more of an antique, actually, because it's from a time long past, you know, and been collecting dust in a dungeon for time since time immemorial. How's the music? By the? It seems like it's louder right now. We check the sounds. That still sounds fine to me. Aw, saying goodbye to Grandmama. Bye. How much longer is this gonna go on, you reckon? Let's find out. Like a minute or so. How about another card while Link's saying goodbye? I don't have an estimate on this one. But, you hear about that, Twitter rate limiting in a fit of desperation? Boy howdy. Seems like Twitter is finally burning down. Mentioned last time that, like, you need to log in to view tweets now. And, on, like, right after that stream, they announced, like, oh, paid people now can, as of, like, July 1st, right? Paid memberships can only scroll Twitter for the equivalent of, like, an hour. And those who don't pay, like, free users, they can only scroll for the equivalent of, like, 5 minutes on average, based on what people are saying. And I'll say I don't scroll Twitter anymore, so I didn't, like, run into those rate limits myself. So, you know, doesn't affect me none since I'm already out, but boy howdy, does that seem like it'll chase away anyone who's still into Twitter. Like, such a suicidal move, and if you look at it, people were very quick to figure out, like, oh, wait a minute. The reason why this is happening, the reason why, seems to coincide with, they decided recently to stop paying their internet bill, their server bills, and Google said, okay, we'll give you until July 30th until the contract expires, at which point you're on your fucking own. And, that contract expired, and, or whatever, and now they're just having to, like, tamper down on all network use on Twitter in order to, like, make their, like, lack of servers less of a critical issue, which, yeah, it's fucked up, isn't it? It seems like a thing that's, it just goes to show you, if you just decide to not pay your bills for long enough, you're just gonna get fucked and reamed and all sorts of fucked over, you know? And, goddamn, seems like if ever there was a time where you could say, like, oh yeah, I don't know they survived this one. I don't know that Twitter survives this one. Like, seriously now? This rate limiting is, like, I can't imagine being a user of the service. I can't imagine being an advertiser who's just finding out, like, what do you mean you're only limiting it to 5 minutes per user? Like, that's an order of magnitude less traffic on our ads. What the hell, man? Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, if you were buying Twitter ads right now, you are some sort of dumbass. Honestly, you are, like, completely out of the loop to begin with, so I don't know if I can be that, I don't know, like, I can have that much sympathy for someone who got blindsided by this, because it's like, okay, Twitter's been dying for the last 6 months. Ads, and most of the advertisers have left as a result, but if you've been sticking around, yeah, man, it's dying. There's no more users anymore, and they can't read tweets as much as they could before, you know, maybe 5 minutes worth. But, like, yeah, fucked up. And I'll say another thing about that. Couple more minutes, Link. Couple more minutes here, Tetra. Here's my estimate. if this wasn't the time for Blue Sky to be open, when will it be? Is the question that I have. You know, because Blue Sky apparently, apparently it's funny. Blue Sky, they had like signups, like a waiting list. Blue Sky has been on like a waiting list mode for the last like half year since it started, right? And apparently they had so many fucking signups this last couple of days, or like so many people like trying to get on the waiting list that they closed the waiting list up. They're like, okay, sorry, no more. You're DDoSing us with all the people who want to try to get in. But goddamn, I can't help but look at that and think, if now is not the time, they have some cojones over there. If like they're looking at the current situation and saying like, hold on, not now, not now. We're not opening up now. We're not ready. Because if they were to open up now, it seems like everyone who's still on Twitter would jump ship immediately if there was an alternative ready to go. I guess the problem is if it's not ready to go, the servers, they don't have as solid servers as they need, etc., then they'd just be like, they'd have to rate limit themselves, I guess, but all I see are opportunities to, like, roll out a product and, suddenly own the market if you do it, like, now, before this rate limiting thing gets rolled back, I assume it will. I assume it will at some point in the next couple of weeks. Assuming they paid their bills, they admit, like, okay, we need servers to make Twitter work, so we paid our bills and now we have servers again. Okay, everyone relax, everyone get back to business as normal. No more rate limiting, but if they don't do that, but until they do that, they're like really vulnerable to someone taking their whole everything right now. And I'll say, like, apparently they just announced that TweetDeck is going to be Twitter Blue only pretty soon, which, okay, another fucked up thing that you can point at and go like, okay, yeah, whew. Gonna die. I think Grandmama no longer can see us. Can't even see hide nor hair of us at this point. We're far, far at sea. Feeling a bit silly now. No, we're not gonna quit. We're not gonna quit. I love this music. This music is so good. They make pirates fun. This theme is like the most fun pirate theme there is, I think. I guess maybe something Monkey Island could be seen as more fun. Or like, there's like Treasure Trove Cove, Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know, this has like a fun energy to it, I guess. I don't know. It's good. Nah. How close are we? Can we still see the island? Oh wow, we have nearly... Who rang a gong? What the fuck was with the gong? What the hell? Okay, now we can't see Outset Island. Nor can we see any other landmarks. Oh! Okay, don't hit the minus button. Also known as select. You know what? I just noticed. I was talking the other day about like plus and minus start select. On the Wii U gamepad, it's labeled plus minus, yes, but also below plus it says start, and below minus it says select. That's how you do it. That's how you should do it. Have both be like on the thing. I think that's better than just having them be plus minus. Makes their purposes more clear. And if you don't want them for international audiences, that's fine. If those things are just like don't translate or something. Yeah, just make it plus and minus there. That's fine. I am Link, that's right. It is popular on my island. It's like the birthday clothes. This is what we call a birthday suit on Outset Island. You know, Starter Island. I'm a new swabby. Nico is finally happy to have a kohai, you know. I bet that's how it's framed in Japanese. Probably something like, "Oh, I'm happy to be a senpai for the first time. You know, I was the newest before you." Get below and find Nico. I thought I just found him down right here. Oh, was this not Nico? Maybe that's Nico's friend. Or Nico is the one who is... He wasn't talking in first person there. He was saying Nico is happy to have something below you. Below him. But Nico is not him. Money, money, money. It's definitely good to rob pirates just for fun, you know? Always rob a pirate if you can. That's what they always say. Might be fireworks or something going off outside. It is the 3rd of July, the day that the stream is going. You know? There you go. Jump and swing. Oh yeah? What do you do? Yeah, look at that. Jump and swing. So if you go too slow, you'll not be able to get there and won't finish. So that's how it works. It'll take 1 year until we do it. Well, we're going to be at the fortress in like, 10 minutes, so... Got that down, you know? We got a date with Destiny here. No, it's not gonna be first try. Let me, I'm gonna reset it and then we're gonna do it again. And I'll do a card and talk about what's on it. Okay, these are the new shows from this season. I'll say overall, like, just first impressions of this new season of anime, not very many winners so far. The only thing that have been winners are returning shows from previous seasons, and Horimiya, The Missing Pieces, is one of them. It's sort of the season 2 of Horimiya. But the thing is, Horimiya was kind of a complete story to begin with. They sort of completed it in that first season, so what they've done in Horimiya Missing Pieces is that they have just sort of like cobbled together a new story from like the parts that they didn't adapt, you know? And I'll say in that first episode of the season, you do feel that, right? You're welcome, Nico. I am welcome, Nico. I'm sorry. Thank you, Nico. I'll say. Spoils bag. I thought it was gonna be the gem. So basically, it feels a little bit cobbled together, you know? It's like, okay, well, we didn't adapt this story, and this story, and this story, and even in the first episode, there's some awkward places where it's like, okay, well, this one takes place in the fall. This story seems to take place in, like, the summer. So the only thing that's, like, connecting them is, like, a couple of jokes that seem to be, like, spanning the gap, right? Like, there's some running jokes across the segments, even though it's like, okay, well, this one is at least, like, 6 months apart. You know, you also get the case of, like, oh, this one is before he cuts his hair. This one is after he cuts his hair. Horimiya, by the way, is a romance show about characters who are just like more than I appear on their surface. Like the main character is a boy who is like unexpectedly cool. He just sort of has like he seems like a gloomy kid, right? He has like long hair, always wears like you know, is always dressed like in long sleeve shirts and stuff. You know, sort of has a gloomy air to him. But the main girl meets him out in public once, and she realizes like, oh wait, it's you? What the fuck? You know, with his hair like down, you can see like you have piercings, and what the fuck is that? A tattoo? Is that why you don't? You know, that's why you wear long sleeve shirts and are like ashamed to strip because it's like, okay, I don't want anyone to see like I have tattoos, which in Japan is like a whole huge taboo, you know. And the two of them develop a really cozy relationship because, you know, they have the sides of each other that they can only confide in each other, and it's just a really sweet anime. And all the other characters also have like, you know, are also very well realized and have romances that spring up throughout the show, and just fantastic. And this season seems to be just the stuff they didn't adapt. And so far, they're piecing them together well enough where, like, okay, well, this first episode was kind of made of disparate parts, but they all seem to work together well enough. It seems good, you know. And I'll say I loved Horimiya. Like, it's probably one of the best. It's one of the best examples of like popular girl, unpopular boy romance that's out there. Yeah, it's not like he's uncool. It's just that like no, he's just cool, but like low key cool. You know, he's this more of shamed and like embarrassed to be cool, which and she's just like more homely than you would expect. You know, she's kind of the cool girl, but she watches after her kid brother. She spends a lot of time at home, just like, you know, housekeeping, and it's a very comfy show and a very sweet show, and yeah, just I'm happy to see it back, even if it is just like shreds, you know. You almost get the impression of like, well, they could have just adapted all of this like in 2 seasons, you know, just done like the first half and then the second half, but instead they cut it into 1 season, and then they realized like, oh shit, this is popular. We can do a 2nd season. We have the okay. And you know, it's also the case of like another show that's Quintuplets also did the same thing or was doing the same thing. Which is weird considering that Quintuplets was popular and they knew it was popular, but when they wanted to end it with a movie, they, you know, did it with a movie rather than. And in order to end it with a movie, they had to skip a lot of stuff in the middle, and apparently that makes like a whole season's worth. I guess. I mean, you hope, right? Like, the worst case scenario is it's like, oh, it's not quite a season's worth. It's just like half a season's worth, but they pace it to make it last, and you don't really want that. That's an interesting flag. A white flag with like a, you know, like a black circle with 2 eyes in it. Pupils, I guess, more like. Their eyes are more like wide, whereas their pupils are more like tall ovals. At least the ones of the humans. Whose face is that? Whose face is that circle supposed to be? Like the bokoblins don't really have that sort of face. Just maybe it's just like minimalist. Here we go, Forsaken Fortress, and I'll say, you know, if I had like one criticism of this game, this whole first segment does drag a little bit, you know, extended stealth sequence to start the game off. Not exactly what you call a good time, you know? Like, I'd rather have a very basic dungeon, you know, in the vein of like the Deku Tree, than a stealth sequence where we have to like hide in barrels and be very flighty. Shoot! Well, shoot, I'm sorry. I apologize. I guess my aim was off by a little bit. Look on their face is priceless. I slipped the stone into your pocket. Alright, very cool. Brass tacks? Brass tacks. I'm pretty sure it's not brass tacks. It's brass tacks. Like, accounting, you know? Brass tacks? Or brass or tax? I'm Googling. What the fuck? The correct saying is get down to brass tacks. Like pickup jacks. Not gets down to brass tacks. Because it alluded to actual brass-headed nails. The tax origin might have had a slang origin from the 19th century. Well, my interpretation of that as well, both are correct. And language changes over time in such ways. So, who cares where it started? I want that rupee. This is silly. It's not like I can buy anything on this island. It's just a barrel. That is a big rupee, though. We do the next card. Watch the first episode of Am I Actually the Strongest? It's a pretty basic isekai. The basic premise is that main character, he's like a recluse, you know, a NEET in Japanese terms, you know, sort of a shut-in. And he gets reincarnated, and it's nothing you haven't seen before. The only sort of quirk is that, first off, there's like a little bit of confusion over like whether he's strong or not. Because it turns out like, oh, you know, the strength-o-meters in this world only display a couple of digits. And he has a strength in the thousands, but no one knows it because all their measurement tools go up to like either 99 or 999. In any case, he reads as a 2. So people think he's, you know, not strong at all, but it turns out he's very strong. And that's sort of the thing. Again, it's really nothing you haven't seen before. You know, it's decently well done, and there is some fun business as far as like the main character. He realizes like, oh well, you know, I don't know quite how to. Hey, buddy. Oh shit. A button, not B button. Bobovkin. Main character, he realizes pretty quick, like, okay, well, he doesn't have an element apparently, and that's a thing where he can only do like barrier magic. But turns out since he's very strong and he can do like whatever the fuck he wants. Basically, the only limit is his imagination, and he can basically use barrier magic to create like. Can you really not jump up there now? I thought you could do that in like the original version. Maybe in HD they fixed it so you couldn't. You know, do a little shortcut here. Yeah, there's definitely a wall, visible wall there. Anyway, the only thing that's cool is one, that he wants to be a shut-in on the other side as well, and that's, you know, kind of neat. You know, something you don't see every day. It's 2, his barrier magic can basically manifest as him just being able to manipulate anything he wants and create holograms and stuff, and yeah, it's kind of a cool application of magic. You know, in an isekai like this, having a magic system that's like somewhat compelling can be a shortcut to like, you know, quality. But so far it's like, I would describe it as very, very, very average, you know, very, very unremarkable. And I'm kind of in wait-and-see mode on it. You know, like, I think it deserves the chance to prove itself and prove that it's more than just a little bit weird. I'll say that it does have some stuff in there that's a little bit weird, for what it's worth. But you know, that's not too uncommon, honestly. A little bit weird, but seems good. Tentatively watching more. Kind of expect to be sticking with it. Is my guess. I expect it to hold up, you know, and to like prove itself eventually and show like, okay, once an adventure starts and things start moving, I expect to see some characters that are good. I expect to see something unique that like sets it apart, and I'm betting we'll get something like that as the show goes on. Am I actually the strongest? Seems average for now, but it probably will be good. Maybe. Very possibly it could be good. Remains to be seen. I'm curious about that one going forward. Next card. Watch the first episode of Outset Island, Ever Darkness in the Secret Hideout, the animation. Now, this one is a very long first episode. It's a double-length feature. You know, it's like an hour-long first episode, and basic concept is like, oh, there's these kids. They're on an island. They kind of want to leave and go somewhere else. The show loves thighs. The main character wears like, you know, stockings, suspenders, like really high riding boots. Socks, I don't know. You know, depending on your interpretation of the art. Could be any of those things. And, boy howdy, does she have some absolute territory going on, and the show loves to show it. Loves to put it on screen, loves to, like, just show her thighs as much as possible. Which, okay, you know? It's like, okay, dude. And, I'll say it sort of runs into trouble there because, one, she's like a kid at all, you know, not exactly what you're looking for, and two, she's kind of a cookie cutter character, and so are the rest of her friends. They're kind of one note, and for all the time that this first episode spends, you know, they go places and they, This first episode is like super long, and I'll say rather boring. Like, they go on an adventure. It kind of sucks. None of them are able to do anything good at all. Anything to really, like, justify, like, why we should be watching. At the end of the day, you're just looking at it going, like, what the fuck? You know, and as the adventure comes to an end, you realize that, like, holy fucking shit, there's 10 more minutes of this anime left. It's not over yet. Even though it's felt interminably long. It's at that point that I said, you know what, fuck this, I'm done. Fuck this, I'm out, I'm done. The end, no, rejected, dropped. And yeah, that one is very simply not a winner. That one is a loser of a show if I ever did see one. Outset Island is what it's called. Apparently it's based on some RPG that I've never heard of, but apparently recently popular one. What can I say? The show's no good. Boring as hell. I would say that they made a huge mistake making a double length of a first episode. What they should have done is made it regular length and just do everything they did in, you know, just in this episode that was like twice as long as it needed to be. Like, this is just suicide as far as, like, putting your best leg forward. Talk about putting your worst leg forward. Just, like, tripping right out the gate. Horrible. Horrible. Another one here. While we're sneaking around. We've gone through this dungeon, by the way, pretty much about as well as it can go. You know, I've snuck around. I've avoided getting caught. I haven't gone to any like extra rooms or nothing, which is great. We're on our way to finishing this in like good time. Ayaka is what the next one was called. Oh, maybe that's like a pig snout is like what that flag is. Like a pig snout. That actually makes more sense maybe than eyes. Watch the first episode of Yaka. It's about like a guy who like is from like an island where everyone has magic powers, and when he becomes of age, they bring him back to the island and say like, hey, you have magic powers. You know, we're your family and we're gonna like train you or something. Okay. That scared me for a second there. It seemed okay, it's just that, I don't know. Watching it, it was very bland and a little bit boring, like, right out the gates. And I feel like if you're bland and boring right out the gates, especially if you're a Saturday show, which this one is, you know, Saturday is usually a pretty busy day as far as anime simulcasts go because, you know, it's the weekend. It's a popular day to air your anime when people have time to watch it, right? So, okay. So, oh jeez. Jesus fucking Christ. So, I don't know. I was kind of bored with it. And also, like, I don't see a reason why anything should have happened the way that it did in the show, right? Like, there's no reason why he was sent away to live with regular people. There's no reason why, like, as soon as the show starts, he's, like, recalled back, right? Like, what's the point of that? You know? Just so he can be, like, a fish out of water for 2 minutes? Because, like, what the fuck, right? It's not like you get a lot of time with him, like, in the normal world, doing, like, magic stuff accidentally or something. Just, like, 2 seconds worth. It's, like, rushed in a weird way. And, yeah, I'm just not feeling it. Just not feeling it at all. I also don't like some of the characters in it, just, like, so far. And, again, that's a bad sign. Not a winner, that one. And I'll say, like, that's sort of a trend as far as the actual new shows this season. Kind of a moribund season, unfortunately. Winners are a bit few and far between. Alright, next one. Watch the first episode of My Tiny Senpai. On its face, it seems like sort of a reverse of the, like, My Senpai is Annoying, which is about a tiny girl who, you know, a tiny woman who, hey, there's the sword, I'm gonna go get it. Tiny woman who, works at an office and has, like, a very large senpai. This is the reverse, where the senpai is the one who is small, and the, kohai is the one who is, like, tall and shit. But he's not, like, buff, he's just, like, tall and sort of normal. And also, the show is, like, quite horned up, you know? Like, it is very much, like... I get it being a romance, like, you know, there's hints of that in other shows with, like, this setup, right? Like, where there's one big, one small character, and, you know, my senpai is annoying. This kind of starts with, like, her getting drunk at like, a bar after hours and going, like, hey, am I wife material? Basically, is what she says to him while drunk. And, you know, that sort of gets things off at on the right foot. And this is instead, like, a lot of the main character going, like, oh my god, she's so cute! And the camera sort of, like, eyeing her and being a little bit leery. And, I don't think there's much in the way of chemistry either. I think, what did I decide on that one? I think I decided that it is kind of fun. It's not, like, the worst thing in the world. And to give it, like, another episode of a chance, you know? I do find the main character to be very nothing. Like, his only character trait is, like, being pent up a little bit. I'll watch more. Even though there's no chemistry, it's not, like, bad. It's... The tiny senpai, she is cute. And I like how there's a bunch of scenes of, like, cutaway scenes of, like, her being compared to a cat. And, doing cute stuff there in... Alright, so we tried to rescue our sister, but, instead we got caught by a bird. And, we see a guy. He's gonna do, like, the... Take him away. Oh, what he's gonna do is just, like, not, like, gesture. Perfect. Even better. Get rid of that. Come on, let's go. Throw him to Windfall Island, specifically. I guess he lands in the sea, and then a boat finds him. Who is that dapper fella? Well, that is, the king. The king of Red Lions. You might eventually know him, you know. He's the guy from Breath of the Wild who was a ghost. You know? That is like his true identity. This is where he was introduced as a character. Before this, he wasn't a guy. And after this, he wasn't a guy much either. Until Breath of the Wild brought him back. Who's talking? It's the boat! As wide as the world is, I am the only boat upon it who can speak the words of men, says this boat, the King of Red Lions. I wonder if that's true in the overall Zelda series. The Zelda series, you know, sometimes loves a thing that can talk to you. Like a hat, a talking whatever, robots. His name is Ganon. Not Ganondorf? Inconsistent a little bit of whether he's Ganon or Ganondorf. You know? Yep. Nod. Yep. He's an earnest boy, this Link. He needs a sail. That's right, sort of. He ended up just sort of like drifting over here to out to like Windfall Island. One of the couple of islands in the game that are pretty good. Let's go. Hey, Windfall. Hey, we're at a new location. We're out of the stealth dungeon, and now we're hanging out on one of the couple of actual places in the game. This is one of the few places that doesn't have a dungeon or, like, you know, anything of the sort tied to it. You know? I feel like Outset was originally... Well, actually, no, that's not true. Either Great Fish or Outset was originally supposed to have one, I reckon. You know, that's why you get, like, the third... You get, like, the third gem just for freebies. I have on occasion wondered, like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if you took this game but you added a couple more dungeons? You know, like, that's the part of the game I love, you know, all the dungeons and stuff. Like, that's... I'm not saying anything, like, all that unique here, but in the original... For these original games, the dungeon was a lot of the appeal. You know, going to each of the dungeons and seeing them and exploring them. It's like fireworks or like thunder going on outside. Probably fireworks. It's the 3rd of July after all. Not quite the day, but close enough. Getting some money will be good. We'll come back here for plot reasons later in the game. It isn't raining outside, is it? Let me see. Look at my weather app. Oh, actually, it is very much raining. Wow, it's a rainy fucking 3rd of July. How about tomorrow? Little bit of rain around 6 p.m. looks like. Oh, goddamn, ain't that unfortunate. And it's overcast as well. Ain't that unfortunate for anyone who, wants to do stuff. It looks like it's gonna be a kind of rainy week, actually. I had planned to go to, Six Flags, but I don't know when that's gonna, like, work out, actually, if it's gonna be this week. Jeez, I hope the weather is good for Silver Dollar City next week. Because it's not like with Six Flags where if you get rained out, you can just like come back another day. In fact, the first time I went to Six Flags over Texas as an adult, I got rained out. So like the second half of the day, we had to leave, or I had to leave, and they gave everyone. Can we do Tingle now? I'm not sure if the Tingle tuner works without the Miiverse being a thing anymore, but yeah, we can do Tingle. Hey. But it's not like with Six Flags where I could just come back another day. And I'll say like getting the thing is when you get rained out at Six Flags at least last time I got rained out, they give you like a pass to be like, okay, yeah, you can come back another day. And as a result, you can get like 2.5. You can get like a day and a half essentially for the price of one. And I guess for like parking. That said, parking is so expensive, maybe I should just get if I'm just going by myself, I should just get the season pass thing that comes with parking and is about as expensive as a single day's fare plus parking,
Yay!
I still have a season pass available for Six Flags San Antonio, Fiesta, Texas, but that's like 6 hours away. I'm not going there. No, sir. I mean, I guess I could, but I think I got my fill. Oh, wow, okay, I didn't have to do any crawling around. I thought I had to crawl around. Sorry, I hate to break it to you, Tingle. Miiverse is down. There's no longer any such thing as Miiverse. I have a map screen now. Oh, there's a thing in the back of the cell? That's probably what I was thinking of. Oh, it's saying that I can... It's asking for settings for the Miiverse stuff. God. Don't receive. I'm just gonna say don't receive, but the reality is, even if I said do receive, Miiverse is down. There's no more Miiverse. Sorry. Sorry, Wind Waker HD. That's not a thing anymore. That's been gone for years now. Years, I tell you. Maybe I'll go like Wednesday or Thursday or something. I'll tell you to Six Flags. I'm not sure what that'll mean for the Thursday stream. I will keep everyone posted whether there's going to be a Thursday stream or not. If I end up going on Thursday, it depends on like what the weather is like Wednesday and Thursday, I guess. And like when's the best day to go of those 2 days. But if I end up going on Thursday, we'll definitely look to like either have a later, shorter stream. After I've like relaxed a little bit, maybe had like wiped the sweat off, had like a bath or some such. This game, do you not have wallet limitations? That's nice. If so, is that the first one to do that? Because like I in the first couple of games, it was always annoying to like fill up your wallet and not be able to get any more. And I guess they must have realized at some point, oh, this sucks. We have all this money, but it's just going out the window because I can't get any more money. So what the fuck? What is this? If it's Miiverse related, that's worthless. Oh, it's a picto box. Use that to take pictures of stuff. And unlike in the last game, you can pick like multiple of them. Yellow coin, a yellow rupee is 10. I saw a video recently about like, oh yeah, the denomination of what each ruby is worth is not like set in stone. It sort of changes game by game. But you know, in this game it's worth 10. And then there's the silver and like a purple. Thank you, Rat. I needed to get out, so I thank you. This is exactly what I wanted to happen. Card, another one. Hey, King. Watch the first episode of Level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Hero. Actually, I think there might be those in there in the actual name. Whatever. So, it's a show about a Demon Lord gets reincarnated as a little girl. And she goes on to find out that her hero rival is sort of a deadbeat now, and sort of a jerk-off, you know? In the last 10 years where she missed, you know? And this is not the first show to have, like, a Demon Lord be regenerated as a 10-year-old type girl, you know? I think about the Great Jahi. I think about Endoro also had that as a gimmick. And you can do it. And it is funny to see like a tiny girl, you know, vamping as if she's a demon lord, you know, and going like going heavy and hamming it up like that. That's always fun. This show is a little bit seedy, I would say. The main character is a total jerk-off. It does sort of the rent-a-girlfriend / kick-ass thing of, like, establishing that he's a total piece of shit through, like, not just, like, reports of him, you know, having affairs and stuff, but also just, like, stuff wherein, you're like, oh, yeah, here's his vibrator and stuff. Or not vibrator, jeez. What's the thing called where you put your own a hole? He has one of those, and he also has, like, there's a point where he's about to jerk off, and it's just like, okay, dude. You know, it's like in Kick-Ass, I really don't want to see a character jerk off, you know? Like, just to establish that they're a jerk off, I feel like that's always too much information, and also, like, it's not all that unusual. We just, usually, characters, you don't see it when they jerk off, you know? In life and in fiction, you know? You don't want to see that. You don't want to think of that. And it's a very just quick and cheap way to establish your character as some sort of degenerate. Show them, like, jerking off. Or, like, getting ready to, you know? Like, okay, dude, I just don't want that. Also, it's a little bit leery about it loves the butt of another character that appears in this first episode. Like, just constantly is framing her ass. Like, close-ups of her ass. And just being really fucking blatant with it. In a way that is like, ugh. It is at the very least not too porny and horny about, like, the main character, since she is, like, you know, a 10-year-old. Isn't like a prepubescent body, even though she is a demon lord reincarnated. But whatever, you know. I'll say it's kind of funny and well made. It seems like it just, I don't know. Giving it more time to have more characters appear, maybe over time, the guy will be redeemed and he'll become nicer. I was hoping to haggle. I got a sale. Anyway, over time, what was I saying? I maybe it could get nicer. Maybe as they like cohabitate, and you know, the demon lord, she like will sort of get him back on his feet so he can be in a state where she can, you know, face him in battle and feel good about beating him. you know, though she is very weak right now, being a little girl and all. But it's not a bad concept. It's just really, really ornery. All right, we'll do that. Let's go. We have a compass rose in the lower left corner now. But y'all can't see it because I'm covering it. Don't mind. It's either that or covering the money. I can cover the money. I suppose I can set up like another placement, you know, like below the hearts or something. That would be pretty reasonable. But I have to set that up ahead of time because I need to program the like TITS, the thing that lets people throw Pikmin at me, to have that new location programmed in. I'll have that ready by the next Wind Waker stream, let's say. I'll figure out like what is a good location. I'll load up my clear save where I have magic and stuff and see how far the UI goes. You know, that makes sense to me. How about another card? First episode of Malevolent Spirits, Monogatari Core 2. Another core of Monogatari, a decent little show about Sugagami. You know, there's a girl who loves Sugagami and a guy who dislikes them because, you know, they sort of killed his family, or at least one of them did. Sugagami are like objects that have been imbued with like spirits and stuff. They have developed a life of their own, and they become like humanoid beings who can like fight and punch and stuff, using abilities related to what kind of object there are. It's a neat type of like supernatural thing that lets them do some fun stuff. And I'll say this new season, starting off on a good foot, right? There's new characters that they're introducing who seem cool. Other sorts of things are good and you like it. They are on the horizon. I'm pleased so far with the return, with the new season of Monogatari. Certainly, the first season was like a 4 out of 5, like pretty good show. But honestly, the new season is so far one of the best things on. Sadly, Horimiya's more than better than it, but you know, it's also a returning show. The returning shows this season might be the only things that are good. I don't know. People are not super excited. Usually there's diamonds in the rough among the lineup, so I expect to find at least a few that like kick ass and, you know, rise to S tier. But God, imagine if this season was the first one without any S tier anime. I'll say last season was remarkable because like the first couple animes that aired were all killers. They were all good. Like it took a while to find one that didn't make the cut, you know? And ones that were good did make the cut because did get cut because, you know, they were inconvenient to watch or something like that. Which is ridiculous by retrospect compared to this season where it just seems good stuff is rare. But also, hey, there's only been like 7 new shows so far airing, and there's more to come. One of them's gotta be good. One of them's gotta be good. I had my hopes up just like looking over the list for like My Tiny Senpai and another one I'll mention later, but it just hasn't been like just by the name, you know, and like the image, but they're all like weirder and hornier than I was looking for, than I was hoping for, you know. All right, we got the Wind Waker. Hey. I always thought this was a weird compromise between, like, you know, because it's on the C-Stick now, you can't exactly have it just be, like, direct input because I guess they were worried, like, people are going to miss inputs. You know, just like bashing it out just by tilting in a direction. You know, it's gonna be a little awkward using a stick compared to the C. We're using C stick compared to C buttons, but I think this like Wind Waker timing thing is even more awkward. I don't know. Dragon Roost Island. Not sure how much farther we'll go, but only like 2 hours in. Usually I like a 3 or a 4 hour stream. I think we could even, you know, at this rate, seems quite likely to me, we'll get into Dragon Roost and maybe that'll be where we look to call it. And then next time, maybe go from, maybe next time, like, we start in Dragon... Maybe next time, we go get the fast sail. A little hiccupy. We go get the the fast sail. Maybe next time, we go get the swift sail. And then go do Outlook, what's it? Go do the forest temple. You know. That seems like a reasonable game plan for the next stream. There we go. We unlocked a way back, or you know, basically. Dragon Roost, also a island with great music. They say I've traveled far with someone with no wings. I've been all around the world. That's a song, you know, from Boogie Nights. People say I've been pretty far for a boy. That's the one thing about Tears of the Kingdom that doesn't like measure up to previous entries, right? Well, I guess that and, like, the dungeons aren't as good as the, you know, these dungeons are like highlights, whereas the dungeons in like the newer games, they're all right, but they're nothing to write home about. I'll say like the Tears of the Kingdom ones are much better than Breath of the Wild, but still doesn't quite hold the candle to a specifically made dungeon centered around like a new item that you get, right? Like it doesn't quite measure up to that. Yes, that's right. I am Link. They got their own problem. That's Valu, who gives them their wings. They get a scale from the dragon. That lets them grow wings. We'll sort out your dragon problem, don't worry. Ooh, a little tired. Slept weird last night. Was really tired around like 10 o'clock, so I just went to sleep. And then I slept until like 1 a.m. and just woke up in the middle of the night. I was like, okay, I think I'll watch a couple of YouTube videos and go back to bed. And then I didn't go back to bed. And was sort of watching YouTube videos and then trying to sleep for like until it was like daybreak. At which point I said like, okay, I'm gonna wake up and take care of anime. And a lot of this anime that I'm talking about today, I watched in that span where I was like, okay, can't sleep, but you know, want to get this all taken care of, and then, you know, finished knocking all that up, finished the tier list, the reviews of the last couple of animes from last season, and feel good about that, by the way. Just the fact that I don't have to like I don't have to like think that heavily and like put numbers on things for another 3 months. As far as these animes go, I really should be catching up on my backlog as far as game reviews go. But you know, the end of the season is just so much. There can be a lot of critical thought needed to like go through the last of every single seasonal anime and just put a number on it and some sort of like coherent thoughts. It's just gets to me a little, I suppose. And once I finished that, I watched like one more thing and then was like, okay, I'm gonna take a nap. And I slept until like from like 1 a.m. to like 4 a.m. and I was sort of intending to sleep until 6, but like some lawnmowers started going off around that time, so I was just like, okay, I'm getting up. Okay, you know what? Good time for it. Good time for it. And finished off whatever anime I had to still see, and then prepared the stream, and here I am. Here I am. So we need to deliver something from Medley to his son, and we got the delivery bag, which can hold things. You know, it's a bag that can hold things. You know, move back into this corner for the time being. There's no map. So long as there's no map in that corner, there's kind of no point. You know what I wonder? You know what? There's maps on the touchscreen on the gamepad. I bet you we're not gonna see any maps actually in this entire game. Maybe I'm not sure if you can pop out a mini map or what, but we'll see. I guess when we go into the dungeon, if we can't pop out a mini map, maybe I can just be in the lower left, and that's fine. Maybe that's actually a good place for my my camera, you know. I could do that, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll meet you at the dungeon later on. Right, I just do it from the touchscreen now. Delivery bag. Put it on like X. Sort of a smart change from like from like Majora's Mask and the other one and Ocarina, where they had to like just have one thing and have it so that it sort of like took up the slot or not based on like where you were in the game. And it's a little more smooth to just be like, okay, you have a bag and you can put whatever you need to deliver in there. And you know, they don't replace each other. They're just like, you know, it fills whatever slots are needed. Smart design. And like pretty directly a thing that they had to deal with coming out of the last 2 games. You know, I guess a lot of things in this game are probably pretty iterative as far as like, you know, in Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, maybe they wanted to make sure players knew about moves, so they put in a tutorial this time and said like, okay, well, we're going to tutorialize pretty heavily, make sure they know all the moves that they can do before they go out. You know, as far as we know, maybe there are people who didn't know about spin attack and just never did a spin attack ever. And imagine not knowing about a counter in this game. It'd be pretty... It'd be pretty, like, tragic. Another card. Watch first episode of Sweet Reincarnation. I'll say, so far, the anime this season has been pretty bleh. I'll say Sweet Incarnation is good. I think it's really good. It's a isekai, and it has a new idea. The main character is a pastry chef, one of the best that ever was, and he got killed and sent to another world, and now he wants to do... He's just interested in doing, like, pastry stuff in another world. And to that end, he will have to, like, you know, source ingredients and figure out, like, you know, you'll have to source ingredients and figure out, like, oh, wait, where can I get sugar? Where can I get, like, apples, different fruits and stuff that I can use as ingredients? A lot of the first episode is focused on him just, like, hanging out and like, living in the world and, like, getting magic and then, you know, getting some apples and stuff. And it's pretty nice and fun. The second episode, there's actually 2 of them that are out now, actually. Kind of a rarity, but it was okay in this case, since both episodes were good and gave you an idea of, like, what to expect from the show at large. The second episode is focused on, like, an action bit, where, like, some bandits come to town or something, and they have to fend them off. It's a, you know, a whole thing. The action is not, like, super well animated or anything, and it's just sort of a nice little contrast to the nice and light stuff. It's easy to follow, and I didn't have any problems with it, per se, other than to say, like, I think it's interesting how it's, like, focuses on logistics a little bit, like it is concerned and thinking about the logistics of battle, as well as just, you know, sorting people, hitting people with swords and rocks and stuff. But also, it's, like, not very well animated as far as action goes, and you could really do better. But, hey, you know, I still think it's fun, and I still think it's, shaping up to be one of the best new shows so far this season. I'm on board and looking forward to more. That's, sweet reincarnation. A patissier, a pastry chef. That's an original job for an isekai guy to have. And again, it seems to balance it pretty well between... Hey, give me a bottle or something. Seems to balance it pretty well between, like, light and fun stuff and a little bit of action and stuff, just to make it so that, you know, it's not so simple as just planting some apple trees and waiting, like, 10 years for them to grow into fine apples, you know? And then making apple pie. It's a little bit more than that, because he also has to defend the orchard or something, and okay, I guess. We'll see. Pretty happy with that. I think it's one of the best things so far. Not like S tier or anything, but, like, yeah, it seems really good. And of the things so far, it's one of the ones I'm more impressed by. Alright, we need to throw her up and make her catch the wind. When it's going away from us, like the direction we're facing. Not there. Not that direction. Here we go. Good work. A bottle for us. Very good. Okay, she's just gonna go take care of that on her own. We don't need to worry about her. Where's the bottle? There it is. Put it on Y here. I have one more show that I saw before this stream. One more new anime that I can talk about real fast as I blow up this rock. And that's The Dreaming Boy is a Realist. I've watched the first episode of that. You know, by the description, I was sort of like, I had high hopes for this one as well, and it seems good, but also weird in a lot of ways. Insofar as, like, yeah, well, the first episode really frames the main character as, like, a stalker, and he literally self-identifies as that. Like, he says, like, oh, I'm known for stalking this one girl, but also And she even says, like, hey, stop stalking me. But also, you know, the first episode sort of deals with, like, him being like, okay, I'm gonna stop. And I'm gonna stop doing that, you know? And her just being like, hey, wait, why did you stop? Huh? What? So clearly it's weird insofar as, like, okay, well, clearly this relationship is more complicated than that. And despite her protestation, you know, she is actually conflicted about the whole thing, which, you know, hey, that's kind of bog standard rom-com fare. Except, you know, usually they don't use the word stalking in a rom-com, even though that's often what it all comes down to, because when you use the word stalking, it becomes oh so real, you know? It's like, oh, it's not a joke anymore. It's not like comedy, not real version of romance. It's like, that's just real unpleasant. A real thing that's unpleasant in real life, so kind of comes with all sorts of unfortunate connotations. But I'll say, like, the first episode is very deftly handled. It has, like, a very good grasp of all the feelings and emotions the characters are going through. As far as, like, you know, you can tell that the main girl is conflicted about him laying off. You can tell that the main guy, you know, what the fuck, definitely still has a thing for her and, like, feels a way, but, you know, wants to do what's right or whatever. And you can tell that other characters also have complicated romantic lives going on, which is interesting. And it not only does it have a grasp of its characters, it also has a deft hand as far as the drama goes, which I'll say is one of the more impressive things of the season, considering it is a show about Stalker, who is literally, again, self-identifies as a stalker. I'm gonna say a tentative on this one. I have to see where this goes because it is really, really good, but God, that, like, concept, it's just so squicky on its face. It's hard to get past that. And, you know, I feel like I'm gonna have to see where it goes and if it can avoid feeling squicky. And clearly, there is something going on between them, right? As far as, like, in, like, the rom-com sense, right? Even though she calls him a stalker and it's a whole thing, because when he stops approaching her, she immediately, like, turns around and starts kind of approaching him at opportunities. But it's like, okay, clearly this is more of a rom-com. It's stalking in, like, the rom-com sense, except usually they don't use that word because it has all the real-life connotations, but there's clearly something going on here that makes it maybe less squicky than it seems at first. Certainly I was hoping it would feel not squicky at all, just based on, like, the name. Again, this season has been kind of a lot of shows that, as far as, like, the first 7 or 8 shows go, that kind of disappoint and kind of, like, don't quite deliver on what I was looking for. Hey, here we are in the first dungeon. How about that? Let's do this dungeon. We're, like, just 2 hours in. So, you know, maybe this dungeon will take an hour. Finish around 3 hours. That sounds good to me. That sounds like a perfectly good length for a stream. And hell, this game, you know, these dungeons aren't, like, the longest. Maybe we'll do them in, like, maybe it'll take, like, an hour to get to the next one, and then another hour to, like, go through it, at which point, like, we could see some 2-hour streams or so in the coming weeks, you know. And again, there is kind of a lot to do before you get into any of the dungeons, so maybe even, like, starting from here, right? We still have to go get the, we have to get the Swift Sail. We have to do all the stuff at Forest Haven. It's kind of a lot, too. So I don't know how long that'll take, but maybe this playthrough will have some shorter streams than the previous couple of playthrough have. You know, which will be nice for a change, and definitely the direction I want things to move in. You know, shorter streams, probably better long term than like some really long ones, you know. That said, you know, hey, I'm on vacation, I can spend all the time I want. Right now, especially. Don't need to be anywhere in the morning except the place wherein I set up tomorrow's stream, which again, July 4th stream. Gonna be a whole bunch of 2D Mario games. What if I went in reverse order? What about that for an idea? No, I should probably start in regular order. I mean, it'd be good to start in reverse order because you'd start with one of the better ones first, you know, one of the most modern ones. One of the ones that is, you know, unambitious, but genuinely really good. 3D, not 3D, New You, and New You Luigi style. But I think we ought to start with one. Maybe. Here's an idea. Okay, here's an idea. Spin a wheel. Spin a wheel. Ooh, I like that a lot. I like that a lot, actually. Fuck it, let's do that. That's fun. Okay. Decided. Decision made. Live on air. I'm gonna set up a spinner wheel that I can spin. It'll have all the games on it. And when it lands on, whichever game it lands on, that's the one we play. So, you know, I'll say again, like, of them... the ones I'm hoping to get are probably like... oh, hey, these are water things. You can make platforms with them, you know, like in like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. The ones I'm hoping to get, like World 3, New You, and New Luigi U, probably. And I think it would be interesting to see the original New Super Mario Brothers for the DS, because I've never played that one. So that one's definitely one that I hope to get somewhere that day. But yeah, I think leaving it up to chance sounds fun. I haven't done that many streams with like a spinner wheel for a while now. Oh, and also I'll say, let's do that other thing I said, where I get to eat a hot dog. Scratch that, where I have to eat a hot dog after every game that I finish. And I can eat the hot dog and I'll spin the wheel while eating the hot dog. How's that for a plan? Pretty good. I do declare. I do declare. That's a weird thing to say. I've been watching like office clips lately. You know, clips of The Office on like YouTube and shit. Last couple of days, and pretty sure that's like a thing Michael Scott would say. It has said, you know, that he declares something that he do declare. You know, it's not something that people say normally. We got a small key, opens a small door. Well, how do you like that? I can't remember what the jelly is for in this game. You know, one thing I'd say of the earlier Zelda games is that all the like loot items that you got off enemies, you know, it was just a big nothing for me. Pendants, all that, like, yeah, just kind of boring as things you can get. And they never really built anything really interesting, generally. So I guess, hey, it's a good thing in Tears of the Kingdom. They found a use for that shit, you know? We throw a rock at this or what? At those bombs? Maybe. I'd like to do some sort of randomizer stream one of these days. That'd be fun for one of these things one of these days. I've had my eyes on Metroid Prime 2 randomizer, and I actually have tried it out off stream. I just don't know if it'll perform very well on stream, which would be a issue if it didn't, you know? If it like chugged, I'd have to like call an audible and switch out for something else if that were to be the case. And off stream it chugged, so you know, with OBS running and all other stuff, it could like really chug. That said, that was before I upgraded my updated my graphics card, did like a driver update, and that driver update seems to have made my graphics card a lot more stable. So maybe that was just an issue of, you know, just drivers. And once I try it again, it'll just work. Jeez, yeah, the map is just on the bottom screen now. Eesh. There's not a way to like show it, is there? UI display. Why would you turn the UI display off? That's wild. So you could like turn it off and then like, yeah, you just got no items in the upper right. That's wild. That's, who would do that? That's standard to the Zelda series. I mean, I guess you could look down at the controller and see what you have equipped. But who does that? Who wants that? I only have the gamepad, so I can't attach a controller. I wonder if it would show the map if I was using a Pro controller. Again, I don't have that. I don't see an option in there to like, sadly, I don't see an option to like show the map on screen, on the main screen. So I guess we'll just have to, you know, I'll just navigate by the gamepad as we did at the time, you know? Back when the Wii U was like a hot thing. There we go, we finally got it. Was a hot ticket item. Hot ticket item? It was never really a hot ticket item, it's just something I bought. And quite liked, you know. Had a lot of good games, the Wii U. A great library, most of which that has been brought over. Now, like, the few things that are left are just, like, you know, games that have sequels that are better on Switch, and also this game, you know. Ports of this Zelda and the other Zelda. Twilight Princess. Those two are the only things that are remaining, and people have been wondering and been asking for like, yeah, put them on Switch, you know, been saying stuff like that. I don't see it happening anytime soon, you know. I guess I say that as I start my playthrough of it. I started on the Wii U, you know. I'm not waiting for it to come out if it is going to. I just don't think that it will. Not anytime soon, anyway. If it comes out within this calendar year, I'll be a little bit annoyed. But also, hey, look, I'll replay Wind Waker any time of the day. You know, for any excuse, thin or otherwise. You cut this one? Oh, you can't cut this one now. Okay. I was about to say, earlier I said I remembered being able to cut these ropes. And you can. You just can't cut the ones earlier on. You just can't cut the first one that you see. And also, maybe you shouldn't cut them because you'll just die. But it's a cool thing, you know, to make the ropes snap and, as you're, like, sorting them and stuff. Hey, how about another card? I got a few more. Thinking about seeing Indy 5, hearing things about it, hearing okay things about it, and also, I'd like to watch the the half in the bag on it, where I assume they're gonna like, you know, half in the bag is a red letter media show where they review new movies, and I am just very curious what they think of it. Oh hell. I am very curious what they think of it, and I'm honestly just tempted to see the movie strictly because there's a review of it on Half in the Bag. Like, just so I can get full enjoyment out of it. And, you know, that's it, you know, nothing more, honestly. Damn it. I want to get that. I don't know what these are for, but might as well get. I can't leave loot behind, even if I don't know what they're for. Ah! I thought I was like, I thought I could pregame it by getting like one scotch closer. Oh, you know what? There's a shadow on the thing where the fire goes through, so you can see visual indicator of that. So anyway, yeah, thinking about going to see it. If I had, like, you know, slept normally today, I might have gone and seen it like this morning or something. You know, might have gone to see it like before starting the stream, right? And after doing anime and stuff. But instead I slept like in the afternoon and didn't go out and see a movie. Hell, maybe I might go see it like after the stream. That'd be fun. That'd be a fun thing to do. I don't know. I want to see it sometime this week. I'm not sure like when I'll find like the 2.5 hours go do it, but might as well, you know. I got the time. Not like I got anything better to do here, you know. Then check out. One off the cliff. God damn it. Seems like a good idea. I don't know. I'm curious how that movie turned out. I bet it's fine. I bet it's better than the last movie. But, you know, maybe not up to the standards of, like, you know, the original couple. I mean, look, Harrison Ford is like 80. He was fine like 5, geez, more than that even. God, it's been a while since even, like, the first of the reboot movies. He was pretty good, I thought, in the, Force Awakens. He was one of the best parts of that reboot. You know, just him running around doing the Harrison Ford bit again. And, he kind of pulled it off as old Han Solo, but I don't know about, old hair, if like 10 years older, if 80-year-old, I just don't know if 80-year-old, like, whatchamacallit, Indiana Jones works. You know, I've seen before, like, people say, like, okay, well, in this case, Red Letter Meter most especially said, like, oh, ages ago, like, in this case, you might have considered just doing a reboot, actually, and just recasting Indiana Jones as, like, a younger guy who is, like, you know, 30, you know? Like, the character is basically just, he's a cool guy with a hat and a whip. You know, it's not deep. It's not, you know, you don't really, he's not really as cool as an old guy. Not to say that there's not cool old guys, I guess, is the other thing, right? There are a lot of cool old guys in, like, movies and stuff. Like, you think of, like, Looper You know, Bruce Willis is a cool guy when he's old. In Looper, that you know, Bruce Willis was a cool old guy. Like in Sisu, that's a whole movie about a cool old guy. There are cool old guys out there who can sustain action movies, but I don't think Harrison Ford is one of them. He's just, I would say that he has like a, I'm not sure Harrison Ford is one of them. He's too comical, you know? Like, I feel like if you're gonna be an old guy who's an action guy, you gotta be like a little bit grizzled. You know, you gotta be like a tough motherfucker. You know, you don't know what this guy got up to in the past. You don't fuck with this guy. But Indiana Jones is like a comedy character. He's like young and spry. That's like part of it, is that he's like doing all sorts of acrobatics and stuff. That's not what usually cool old guys do, you know? In fact, I would say that that is the one thing that cool old guys cannot do. Like, Indiana Jones type shit, you know? I guess Sully in Uncharted manages it okay, but you know, he's in a video game, so somehow they make it like look good on account of, you know, it's just models. You don't have to get an actual older fella, and he's not as old as like you know, Sully is not as old as what's his face as Harrison Ford, you know? Sully is less old than that, which I do think makes a difference as well. Just like logistically, I suppose. You know, like what? Harrison Ford, he's like older than most presidents have been in their time of office, you know? Maybe like just as old as our current last two, who have been like way older than like on average, right? Old enough where you get into the question of like, well, at what point is being president or being in an action movie elder abuse, you know? I mentioned Bruce Willis earlier, and yeah, there was a lot of films he was in where he really didn't understand what he was doing. You know, you could tell that he was just kind of gone, and was just being fed lines through microphones, and Jesus, man, that stuff is just like, that's gross, man. To make him star in movies despite his mind just being, despite the fact that he was like for so long just mentally gone, you know? Again, would say like would constitute elder abuse. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not exactly an expert on that. Funny that these guys have like weapons and you take it from them. You know, you take their weapons and use them against them. That's a neat gimmick for this game that they really don't like fully explore, you know? There's like 3 weapons in the game that you can get this way. You can get a stick that's like a Deku stick, you know? Which admittedly, hey, it does come in handy for like puzzle and stuff. Like, I think it's really well used in this dungeon to like light a torch and then be able to just like toss the lit Deku stick where it needs to go. Like, that is just pretty cool, actually, come to think of it. But other than that, it's like Deku stick, regular sword, and big sword from the big dark nuts. And I don't think, like, after this game, it really comes up that much, you know? It's not like... I don't think Skyward Sword had, like, weapons that you picked up or anything. It really didn't come back until, I guess... Until, like, you know, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, all that. about another card? Shout out to Tom Scott, big YouTuber who just, after 10 years of putting out videos like daily or like weekly or something, not daily, weekly, has sort of like taken a break, giving up the daily upload or weekly upload schedule, and it's just gonna do it at his own pace from here on out, which I think that is that's nice, that's lovely, that's probably good for like the mental health and shit. If y'all don't know Tom Scott, he does like travelogue videos. There's a lot of cool stuff on YouTube as far as like, you know, going a place and then finding out like, oh, here's a weird thing about this location. Like, here's a weird thing that they do here. You know, like, oh, this is the dam where they kill people in. No, that's not what one of them would be. It'd be something like that, where it's like, oh, this is here's one weird thing about this dam, or this like city, this like way station, whatever the fuck. That's not true anywhere else in the world. Oh, motherfucker. How about we just, like, ignore that guy? And just, like, try to get by. There we go. Fuck off, buddy. Really like his videos, watch them on occasion, you know, whenever one strikes my fancy. And, I hope he enjoys, like, having a more relaxed schedule. Seems like a reasonable thing to do, and I totally understand, like, you know, getting to the 10-year mark of an endeavor and going like, okay, it's time to pull back, you know? Like, yeah, I'll say, like, as far as 10-year stuff goes, I mentioned earlier that it had been 10 years since, like, Ryan Davis had passed away. I'll say, like, one thing that's, unfortunately, it kind of reminds me of that is around that time where he passed away was the time where I, you know, got gainful employment for the first time. So, like, the fact that I'm now hitting 10 years at my job goes hand in hand with, like, 10 years of Ryan Davis, and apparently, of him being, like, you know, gone, and also 10 years of, I guess, Tom Scott doing YouTube stuff. And that's interesting to think about, right? Like, around the time that I got out of college and started, like, you know, working, was the same time that he started doing YouTube videos. Like, what? Like, he seems so big now. It's hard to think. You know, it's been, it's been, like, been that much time. And the things have changed that much in the, changed that for him and for others in the interim. All right, can we get spears? I think you can get spears in this game as well. Spears that these guys have. Yeah, so we can pick up, oops. He's really shouting up there, huh? What's up with Batty then? Is he okay? Is he cool? Is he gonna stop like going ah 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 ah? So yeah, we got this ridiculous spear. And how does this work? Do we swing it? It's not like in yeah, it's swinging. More of a big swing. Not like in Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, where it's like poking. That'd be cool if it was, but I guess actually it'd be like less useful. Oh, never mind, actually. As is, you gotta worry about hitting the wall. And hitting... God, what was that, even? Hitting things that are behind you, even. Ridiculous. What a ridiculously impractical weapon. It'd be better if it was like Tears of the Kingdom style. And it was just like spearing guys, you know? Just poking. I mean, that's how you use a spear. Some creature is fucking around with his tail. You don't want that. I tell you. You have an item for me? This is funny in retrospect, or, you know, I say in retrospect. An interesting one-off case of just like, yeah, instead of from a chest, you get this item from a girl. You know? I like opening a big chest, though. I think it's a little better, maybe, than just, you know, getting it from a lady who could have gave it to me, like, you know, before we went in. If she had thought about it, I guess. I need to put this on R because this is, I want to be able to aim with the right stick while I'm, as well as with motion controls, while I'm, pulling it up. Grappling hook is the like, grappling hook? The grappling hook is cool. It could stand to be a little more automatic, you know? Like, if just, like, auto-targeted to, like, whatever thing is, like, If you don't use L triggering, like, I do think... Like, here's how I think it should work. Like, automatically just target whatever's swing on. That's, like, you know, nearby, and you can use L triggering. Left trigger to, like, target, like, this guy, for instance. If you want to, like, take pendants and other stuff, things from them. Damn fool. You fool. All right. Very nice. I'm just gonna cut this down. That's the best way to get down in this room. Just cut the bridge and then, you know, fall directly down. Very good. Hell yeah. Some junk that I don't know what's for. I love it. There's a seam in the door. It's fine, whatever, don't worry about it. There's a seam in a lot of things, you know? Look at that, we made an elevator. Now we can get back up here. More importantly, we can get down here. And then climb up here and go to the next place. They're sort of a little reminiscent. These dungeons in these games, they're sort of reminiscent in a lot of ways. Like a really good one, anyway, is reminiscent of like a level in which there's only one logical, clear place to go. And yeah, it's still routing you around places you've been, places you recognize, and making it an interesting path, even if it is relatively, like, self-explanatory, you know? Like in the original game, you could put, like, something tingle here or something. There's no tingle tuner in this one, though, so, you know, that's all out. No tingle to be tuned, you know. You'd think that they would do that because, like, tingle tuner is basically like the equivalent of a gamepad in Wii U terms, but they decided to lean more into like the Miiverse stuff. Expecting it to be A to like actually fire it. Let's release. I'll get used to it. Go fight a guy or something. I know. Not quite fight a guy. But we need to use a guy. He's gonna roll up. I'm gonna put him on the button. And shoot on the button. And open the chest. And there we go. We got the dungeon key. And yeah, that's all we need to go. The big key. That's all we need to go to like finish this dungeon off. One more card while I'm more card for tonight maybe. Follow up on Mario making. I've done a little bit more Mario making since Friday's stream. I will say I'm not really sure about the directions that I was pushing in the last time I did Mario Maker, like did a Mario making stream. Like I feel like I've not quite got it, nothing clicking yet. I think maybe some things need to be taken back to the drawing board. I know I am currently in the phase of being at the drawing board, so this is like nothing unexpected, but still, I feel like I have less of a... As I mess with it more, I am less sure about the things that I thought were good last time. I'm more sure that, like, whatever I have, whatever's there, there's something I'm missing, something I need to figure out, something that needs to be... Something better needs to be put together for this level. No, it's not there. And, that's kind of a sad thing to realize, and realize that, like, yeah, there's a lot more work left to be done here. And just a lot more thoughts, and... God damn it, what the fuck? A lot more thought needs to be done in that next Mario level. I am thinking about trying to do like a smaller stream of that sometime soon, like, you know, another making stream. I'll say those making streams do, you know, quite well, at least on the YouTube side. Quite well liked, so, you know, sort of encourages me to do them, you know, and you know what, I'm too low on the rope. Do more of them. One more game that I played over the weekend. I replayed the Pikmin 4 demo. Decided to go ahead and make a new character. Make a new character in that, and make her more what I was looking for, and you know, make her design like different from what I did during the stream. And also, there were a couple things we didn't do exactly ideally during the stream. That's a third time. I know. I'll do it this time, right? There are a couple things that I didn't do during the Pikmin stream quite right. For instance, I realized too late how you can get the blue onion, and managed to get that done right off stream, so, you know, with the new file and all. So, that feels pretty good. I also found out that, hey Shag, how's it going? I also found out that when you, like, spec out your dog, when you do, like, complete a category, you unlock, like, a whole new tier of upgrade for your dog. So, you know, once you get, like, your dog up to 10 strength, you unlock things that make it go up to, like, 100 strength if you invest more points in it, which, that's pretty cool. It seems like there's a lot of those different, like, skill tree type things that are gonna unlock, like, the more points you invest in everything, which, seems pretty cool. How do I get back to, like, I just need to get back to, like, somewhere I can get back to, like, a teleport pot. How you doing, Shag? Hope you're having a good, 3rd of July, you know? That's what day it is. If you got time off, if you're taking time off, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm enjoying my time off. You're just shiny hunting? Ah, in the Pokemon game, then. The newest one, or just, just which Pokemon game specifically? Sword. So that is the second newest one. Any reason why Sword in particular, and not Violet and not the newest ones, you know? I'll say of Pokemon games, Dynamax Adventures in Sword are just the easiest way to get shinies. I have no idea what that means, I'll say. What is a Dynamax Adventure? That must have been added, like, in the DLC. I didn't really get that deep into the DLC for Sword and Sword and Shield. It was in the DLC? Gotcha. That makes sense then, if it's just like the best way to do it, you know. What if hang on, I can do this, I'm smart. I'll save on the gamepad, which by the way, I have the gamepad here if you're wondering why you're not seeing things, because, you know, you can't exactly capture that. Oh, to title screen, okay. Back to the title screen, reload, gonna be, you know, where we want to go. I'm doing alright playing this game, one of my favorites. And just about to clear the first of these dungeons right here. How about that? I guess after this point, like, the game does open up a bit, you know? Like, you can go places, you can do side activities, you can get, like, heart pieces. Before this point, like, there's zero way you could get off the beaten track and go find, like, another heart or something, right? I'm not sure if there were heart pieces in, like, Windfall or in Fortress or in, you know, the town that you start in, but I don't think there were. I think it's just... the only heart pieces to be found are after... At the very least, I would be surprised if you can get 4 of them, since... Well, actually, there are some mini-games. Maybe you can do those. Anyway, point is, you know, maybe after this stream, maybe next time we come back, we'll do side stuff. Oh, at least we'll get the Swift Sail, I know that. Swift Sail, that is for sure. Maybe other stuff as well. You know, the world is our oyster in this game, you know? What have you been playing recently, Shag? As far as, like, streaming goes. Was it, Super Mario RPG? You been playing the original Super Mario RPG? Am I remembering wrong? Pokemon and RuneScape, gotcha. Maybe someone else was doing Mario RPG. Also, maybe bad timing for it since the remake just got announced. You haven't streamed in 2 months? Gotcha. You know, a lot of people, it's a lot of work to stream, you know, and it takes a lot of time. And I'm sure if you just stop, you have all the time in the world now. Ugh. Guy I know, Judo, you know, who is a streamer. Hasn't streamed in months either, but just came back the other day because he had you know, time off from work because you know, the holiday and all, and it was good to see him. Shout out to Judo. All right, we don't hit him in the head. We just swing off the thing up there. I'd love to do some more collabs, you know? And Judo would be a great one to do it with. You know, I had a lovely collab with Judo around the start of the year. That was a lot of fun. Also, a couple of collabs with Shag before. you know, who's in chat now. Those are always a bit of fun to play with some people and to, like, you know, have other people on stream to talk to for a change, you know? Thanks for a good time. Yeah, tons of fun. I think that'll break the shell. One more of those and the shell will be broken. Last little thoughts about the Pikmin 4 demo. Really enjoyed replaying it. That game, it's pretty damn good, and the more I play of it, the more impressed I am. And I think when I start it again, I'll resume from that file I did over the weekend and probably do a little bit of that on stream, like the first session with it. That'll be fun to go into the second level and, you know, see what's next, do nighttime expeditions and all that, ideally. That'll be a damn good time, and I'm looking forward to when that game hits. It'll be damn good. And I'll say, yeah, again, I have 100% of the first level done in the new file, and I couldn't do that in the old file because, one, I spec'd my dog wrong, and two, it doesn't let you, like, reload it until the real game comes out. You know, once you get, like, it beat. You know, once you get a file beaten. But I'll tell you, it was fun to do idly, you know, just as fun as it was to do on stream, which, hey, that's great. You know. I'll say one other thing which I thought was weird, because the like Dandori battle mode sort of is split screen, even if you're playing it alone, you know, even if you're playing against the computer player. It's a little bit weird because you know, if you're playing, like, handheld, to be like, holy shit, you're just taking half the screen away from me, even though I'm playing handheld. What the hell? You know, it's like, there's not that much screen real estate to begin with, and you're taking half away? Fuck. I think that's really weird, actually, and I would rather they not do that, but whatever, it's fine, I guess. There's some things about Pikmin 4 that I don't think are ideal, but the scope of it, the way that it unfolds, and, you know, the fact that you do have as many tools as you used to, as far as like, you know, multitasking and managing your army goes. I'm also very curious to see, like, what's in command, like the upgrade command list, because there are some good stuff you get already through the command upgrades. Like, apparently the go here function was all tied to that dog upgrade. As is, like, some other stuff where it allows you to, like, send the dog to or fro, or send your captain to or fro, your rookie. Also, by the way, I was looking for a good way to refer to the captain that you play, who's, like, a human and all, except not a human, like an alien, and rather than, and as opposed to the dog. Apparently, you can't just call him or her, you can just call them the rookie, which I named my rookie the rookie. I named my rookie Rookie in the new file, which I think is a lot better than just using my actual, you know, screen name. To see a guy running around calling himself, you know, just Master DS, you want a name that fits in the world, right? In a case like that. So, Rookie, that's what I went with. I think that's pretty good. Hey, look at that. We got a little orb. Very good. Easy. That's right. Easy indeed. And look at that. Just above 3 hours for the whole stream, starting from Outset and, you know, getting through Forsaken and this one. I'm pretty satisfied with this progress. I think that's as good a time as any to, like, cut it off. I guess I could sail back to, like, sail back to the main island and do the auction thing right now. But maybe that's better spent as, like, a next time activity. I also do have another number of cards left, but tomorrow's stream is going to be pretty busy. So, I'll just wait and talk about that stuff on tomorrow's stream. It's going to be a long one after all. There's not enough symbols in this one. This one should be a four symbol song, but there's only like room for 3. If it's the same size as this, doesn't really make sense. Fine, whatever. Don't worry about it. This is the most important song in the game until you get the Swift Sail, at which point it becomes like okay, And in this game, we get the Swift Sail. In this version, It allows you to set the direction of the wind. A mighty nice breeze. A mighty nice breeze. I am the waker of winds, that's right. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. Cyclos is sort of the tornado guy, but, if we chastise him later, we'll get a good thing. Y'all know what the good thing is if you've played the game before. Fast travel, pretty much. I think... God, my instinct is telling me, like, ooh, crap, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. But that's not how it works in this game. You don't pick up the crabs. You can't brew them into elixirs or... Honestly, I don't even brew elixirs at all. Which, crabs actually, they're food, so you don't brew them. You cook them. But, I still pick up everything I see. I have an opportunity to pick up a lizard. I pick up that lizard. Damn it. Well, why don't we call it right here? I'm gonna hit save down here, and next time we'll pick up going over to back out. We'll go back over to Windfall. We'll pick up the Swift Sail, and then we'll head over to the Forest Haven and do the whole Forest Temple, and maybe then some. Maybe we'll do like the bomb stuff and then the Dark Sea stuff. If there's still, if it's like an hour and a half into the stream at that point, we'll see. Try and make it so it's not too short, but also nice and like shorts, Don't necessarily want to go super, super long on these streams. Anyway, let me say again what the plan is for tomorrow. Tomorrow's... Oh, I didn't put it into the schedule. Or change the schedule since last time. I will later. But tomorrow, Tuesday, July 4th, starting around 3 p.m., there'll be some sort of big long stream, which is specifically going to be the 2D All-Stars stream. 4th of July is famously about the Stars and Stripes, the American Day. And, well, what is more All-Stars than All-Stars? Super Mario All-Stars. So I'm going to play a bunch of 2D Mario games and just try to finish each of them as fast as I can using, like, whatever warps or whatever makes sense, And an idea I just had, like, 20 minutes ago was to have it so that all the games are on a big wheel, and we'll do it randomly. We'll spin the wheel, and whatever game comes up next is the one we play. And that sounds like a bit of fun. That'll be tomorrow's stream, starting around 3 p.m. Central, and probably going, late. Probably going, like, later than this stream, even, possibly. It's gonna be a long one, I reckon. And also, I think it would be cool if I had to eat a hot dog after every game that I finished. I think that would be in the spirit of July 4th. I'm not sure what's gonna happen on Thursday, but if I'm not at Six Flags doing like a theme park day, expect some sort of Thursday stream. I'd like to do some sort of randomize or something on Thursday, so we'll see what makes sense for that. And then Friday, this Friday, the viewer levels are going to be in the morning, somewhere around like say noonish. Let's do noonish viewer levels this week and next week because I'm on vacation and all. That's the plan for this week. Again, I'm on vacation. I got time off. I will say the next Wind Waker stream, again, will be on Sunday instead of Monday because I'm going to be busy on Monday prepping for a trip to Silver Dollar City. You know, theme park. Very fun theme park that's, you know, several hours away, so that'll be a whole thing. But, you know, whenever the streams fall, should be a good time. Watch the Discord for updates, and I'll try to keep this streaming schedule up to date. After the stream, I'll update it so it has, like... You know what, actually, let me go to the computer and just update it right now. 1 second here. So that's the plan for the foreseeable future. Sunday. So that'll be Sunday next week. Tuesday will be the 2D All-Star stream. Finishing random 2D Marios. Thursday, I don't know. Might skip. We'll see. Unsure if this one will happen. Unsure if we'll do this week. And Friday will be around noon central. Let's say just noon central. Friday lunchtime viewer levels. Lunchtime viewer levels are noonish. Friday afternoon, let's say. Perfect. That works. Lovely. Okay, those are the plans for the coming week. Hope to see y'all again. I appreciate the good night, Shag. Hope you also have a good night. Let me see who's streaming right now, and I'll send y'all over their way. Axel is doing some sort of DK64 randomize or something. That sounds good to me. I'm just gonna send you over to Axel SR doing DK64 randomize or something. I like DK64 randomizer enough. A lot. That's sort of on the short list for like things this Thursday. DK64 rando. I'm gonna send you over there. Y'all have a great rest of your evening, the rest of your night. I will see y'all tomorrow at 3 p.m. I guess I should prepare some cards and stuff so I have things to talk about, as well as the wheel. I'll have that nice and ready to go by the time of tomorrow's stream, which again will be 3 p.m. Have a good rest of your night, folks, and I'll see you tomorrow for the 2D All-Star stream. Whoops, I just realized I intercapped there. There we go. Wa-bam. Fixed. Good night, folks.